Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Joy Bastaros, and I'm going to be your webinar host for the day, coming to you from Houston, Texas, here in the U.S. I would like to welcome you to today's Siemens Global webinar. Our topic for the day is Unlock the Secrets to Product Data Management for Altium PCB Design. I'd like to welcome today's speaker. We have with us today Jamie Wilkins. He is currently a Teamcenter Marketing Manager with more than 25 years of experience with MCAD and product lifecycle management tools. Over the last 20 years with Siemens, he has also held roles in professional services, education services, and pre-sales solution consulting, assisting customers across multiple industries throughout the world with the use and success of Siemens solutions to solve their business challenges. Welcome to you, Jamie. We're very happy to have you here with us today.
Welcome to today's presentation on unlocking the secrets for Altium product data management. So I'm here to discuss how you're managing your Altium PCB designs and other product data today, but then help you think and unlock the secrets to streamline product development with full-featured product data management, or PDM. Thanks for joining today's webinar. What we will do is I will present some content. There will also be some demonstrations. If you have questions along the way, please submit them into the chat window. There will be time for questions at the end. With that, let's go ahead and get started. 25%. So what does that mean? Is that a big number? Is that a large number? Well, according to a Tech Clarity survey with over 2,000 manufacturers, they state that the best-in-class manufacturers spend 25% less time on non-productive data management tasks. Well, what does that translate to? What does that mean? Well, this equated engineers on average spending 1 day a week on non-value-added activities. And think about that, 1 day a week, just doing non-value added. So you're not being able to innovate and solve business challenges. You're just trying to find stuff and do non-value added tasks. Well, whether you're using Altium or any other electronic or electrical or mechanical CAD tool, you may think that the system you have today to find and share and reuse data is good enough. But step back and consider what a strong PDM system can do to streamline product development and drive business excellence. And so at a fundamental level, what should a PDM offer? Well, for one, data access control to protect your intellectual property, effective search to help drive reuse, so much easier to reuse data than have to go recreate it, workflows to streamline efficiency, automatically notifying people that they have a task to perform or they have a drawing to review, for example, and the ability to share data and collaborate across that business. So supporting multi-domain and multi-CAD designs, reducing errors and improving quality along the way, and ultimately speeding up that time to market. Well, we've established a path to excellence, and we've identified 4 major steps in that path to excellence. And you can see them listed on there. So how are you managing CAD data today, stopping waste some of that engineering time, that non-value added time, making a fresh start, and adopting a right-sized PDM. Well, let's take a look at each one of these. And so let's focus on, or first take a look at what you're doing today. So how are you managing your data? Well, if you're like most companies, you may be using file servers or desktops to manage your CAD data. Or you might have multiple systems for managing your data. And multiple systems, just like file servers, are the roadblocks to managing data better, especially if your business needs to work with multiple electronic and mechanical CAD systems and the data and collaborate across multiple domains. So a lot of times systems have a data management system that manages just that system's data. But how do you interact with, maybe you have to use another system, a co-design, or moving across domains? How do you interact together? Well, if any of this sounds familiar, it's time to consider what it would take to get to a single integrated PDM or PLM system. Well, let's look at that second step. Stop wasting engineering time. So if you look at the cost of most methods of managing, whether it be electronic, electrical, and mechanical CAD data, well, if you're in the 26% of the companies with designers spending more than 20% of their time on non-productive data management tasks, like searching, or organizing or locating files for other people, that can add up. And it basically adds up to about 1 full day of work per week for each designer. And so even if your designers are spending less than that, when you consider labor costs, and not only for the design engineer, but just labor costs in general, it's easy to see the cost of non-productive data management tasks to your business. Well, what can you do about it? That gets us to step 3, making a fresh start. So if you're questioning your current system and processes, it's time to make a fresh start. Now, the business of PDM has changed dramatically in the last few years with a generational shift to redefine PDM beyond CAD data management. So it includes capabilities to be more integrated and interoperative, whether it's across multiple CAD tools or integrating more components of designs like electrical, electronic, mechanical, and even software. So a single PDM system can be at the center of your business, so which is going to help everyone keep track of every bit of information that they need. That helps to define and describe the product throughout its development. Now let's look at the difference between companies that use a single PDM system and other companies that don't. So you can see from the chart there, so from improvements in design reuse and reduced development time and better downstream use of data, these are the types of improvements you can see in your business when you deploy a single PDM system. But the key is to find, well, what's the right size PDM system that meets your needs not only today, but what about tomorrow? Well, that gets us to step 4, adopting a right size PDM. Now, so what do we mean by right size PDM? Well, for starters, you deploy quickly. So you get that quick payback with limited and even no IT experience. You also need to consider the software capabilities. Are they right for you? Well, full-featured PDM system can support your whole business, from product development to delivery. And it's going to have the flexibility to fit your people and your processes. Now, as your business grows, that right-sized PDM can also grow with you. So scalability is key. So whether you're adding more people or locations or need to collaborate more closely with your customers or suppliers, what you're doing today may not be what you're doing tomorrow. And so right-sized PDM is the choice for business excellence today and in the future. All right, well, that gets us to the solution for all that, Teamcenter Rapid Start. So Teamcenter Rapid Start, which is the right size PDM to get you started quickly and cost effectively today, but then grow as your business needs grow tomorrow. Well, let's take a little deeper look at that. So we'll look at 3 different areas. So in essence, the secrets to streamline your product development, Teamcenter Rapid Start, begin with a look at the PDM capabilities. But the best kept secret is the fast time to value. So we'll show you how you can get into production with Teamcenter Rapid Start in a week for a fast return on investment and a payback in less than 6 months. So over these next three steps, I should say, we'll look at how you can increase efficiency by 20%, look at some of the search capabilities and the power that brings. We'll then take a look at the intuitive user interface, so how we bring PDM directly inside the design environment, regardless of the design tool you're using. And then finish that up with the fast time to value. How quickly can you deploy this and get started? All right, so first one, increasing efficiency by 20%. So let's look at some of those improvements you can get. Well, with Teamcenter Rapid Start implementations, we typically see an increase in efficiency by over 20% with our customers. And so this comes from reclaiming some of that non-value added time that we talked about. Things like searching for data, or even worse, having to recreate data or re-entering data. So Teamcenter Rapid Start has some powerful search capabilities that help you fight some of that information overload. Well, how does it do that? So how does Teamcenter Rapid Start simplifying search? How's it going to make your life easier? Well, the data and processes and that information is connected, and it's connected in a transparent way, and that's going to make it easier to find what you need. So you don't have to know, well, how is that one piece of information connected to the other? So by using this connected information, it's in essence behind everything that you see. So if you're looking at a part or a component, you don't have to then go off and search and find the geometry or the latest drawing that goes with it. It's going to be right there. Or if you're viewing a document, you don't have to wonder, was this document approved? What's going on with this thing? You'll be able to clearly see the status and the history that document's been through. Or if you need to see a requirement that's driving a software change, it's right there. So you don't have to waste your time searching for information. So with the intuitive search capabilities that you're going to see, you can access it from any web browser. So a web browser, smart device, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to quickly find the data and the exact data that you need. And you'll also be able to understand and see all the relational links from one piece of data to another. And so this way you're going to be able to understand and have the visibility to that entire breadth of data that defines your product, along with the visibility to any changes that may occur. All right, well, let's take a look at a demo. So in this example, you could be anyone in the company. So whether you're a board designer or a manager or a parts librarian, an engineer, doesn't matter. So you're going to be able to access Teamcenter from any web browser. And as I mentioned, whether that's on a desktop or a laptop or a tablet or a phone, once again, doesn't matter. So the experience is going to be the same. Well, what you're going to see in this demo, takes about a minute or two, or maybe about 2 minutes, is using the suggestive search and the automatic filtering capabilities, you're going to be able to quickly find exactly what you need. But then the cool thing is that once you've found the data you're interested in, everything else is right there for you. So you don't have to then go find that related information. So let's take a look at this in action. So once again, as a user, you're going to come through and do a search. You're going to search for a capacitor. And if you've ever used a search engine before, this works the same way. So maybe use Google or whatever your favorite search engine is. Same thing. Enter what you know. And as you begin typing, you'll get suggestive searches that can help you enter or narrow down what it is you're searching for. Now, once you do a search, so Teamcenter will automatically filter and categorize the results for you. So in this example, are you looking for a part or a document or a file that's related to capacitor? And you can also see how it highlights some of the results for you. So as you do your search, you better instantly draw your eye to exactly what it is that you're looking for. Well, in this example, maybe you're looking for some documents. So you can immediately filter out just for documents related to capacitor. But like I said, you can filter down for whatever it is that you're looking for. Now, we also have a shopping cart style filtering. So if you've ever used an e-commerce site to purchase something online, this works the same exact way. Instead of filtering for a TV size, you're filtering down in this example for a capacitor. So maybe you want to look at just the parts, and specifically parts that have been approved. So you can very quickly filter down exactly what it is that you're looking for to narrow that information down. Now, once you've found a result that's of interest to you, you can come through and select it, and Teamcenter automatically presents information about it. So in this example, you're seeing some basic attributes. Things like who owns it, when was it last modified, and then just with a click of a mouse, you can see additional attributes like library information. So what's the voltage for this? What's the tolerance for this capacitor? You have all this information right at your fingertips. Now, related to this capacitor could be documents. So as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to go find those documents. They're automatically found for you. They're directly related to that. So with this capacitor, here's documents that are related to this. And these are all actionable. So you can open these up and take a look at them and view them, or print them out, or send them somewhere, whatever you need to do with them. Now, another important thing is, where's this capacitor used? So you have this capacitor, which is just a single component, but where are you using it within your company? Well, once again, click of a mouse, you can click on where used, and it'll tell you exactly where it's used. And it is important for change. So maybe you can't get this capacitor anymore. Well, there's the boards that it affects. There's your Altium projects that you got to go and interact with. So all this information is right at your fingertips. Search for what you know using a Google-like search. Filter information down using a website, your favorite website type filtering. And then all the related data is just a click away. Well, now let's look at another example. So it's not just managing the electronic data, because Teamcenter can manage data across all domains. Well, what if you start having multiple domains? If you're managing not only electronic, but electrical and mechanical, and maybe even software, what does that look like? Well, I'll go through a similar example, what you just saw, where you'll come through and search for something, and then you'll come through and start viewing related information. So just like before, you come through and use a search. You're going to search for a field effect translator, an FET. And once again, you can see you get a suggestive search for what you might want to search on related to that. From your search results, same kind of thing. There's only 2 results, so it's pretty easy. You don't really need to filter those results down. Well, once you come through and open up one of those results, just like before, we could do the same exact thing. view related documents, view the history, view all sorts of information about it. But in this example, let's go to where used. Now, just like before, we mentioned about where used, you can determine what the impact is or where that thing is used across the organization. Same thing here. So for this FET, where is that used across your organization? Well, it's used in these two boards. Now, those boards are probably used somewhere. They're probably used in some sort of a product or maybe multiple products. Well, what products are those used in, or where are those boards used? Well, they're used in these handrails. And so now with just one particular search, you found that this FET, this revision, or this version of the FET is used in these versions of the board, which is used in these versions of the handrail. And that's across your entire organization. So now if there comes a change and this FET, there's an issue with the FET, or you can't get it anymore, or you found a cheaper one, whatever it may be, this is your impact across your entire company for what it's going to take to solve that problem with the FET. You've got a couple boards to update and a couple products you have to look at. Very powerful information right at your fingertips there. Now, these are all actionable. So for this board, well, what's that board look like? Well, you can come through and open that up and take a look at it and view that particular bill of material. And with the power of the JT file, which is a neutral file format, you can even visualize to visually see what that particular board looks like. And this is all within Teamcenter. So whether this board came from Altium or PADS or a Cadence, doesn't matter. We're able to visualize that in a single common format. So, all right, so you found that FET, you found the board that it's used in, you've looked at the bill of material for one of the boards. Well, now where is that board used? So once again, one click away, go to where used, and you can see the parent assemblies that that board is used in. So it's used in Rev A of this assembly and Rev B of that assembly. And once again, it's used in these top-level products, these handrails. So once again, powerful information that's just right at your fingertips. Whoops, and I skipped that video. Let's go right back to where we were here. There's the FET. All right, so we open up the BOM, visualized it. All right, we'll catch up right where we were. So you visualize, remember that's an industry standard format, so it doesn't matter the CAD system that it came from. We can visualize that information, and I did it again. All right, let's find out where we're at. All right, there we go. I got to quit hitting the space bar here. All right, so we're back to where used. We can see the board that it's used in. We can see the handrail that it's used in. Well, once again, actionable information. So we can come through and open up this handrail and take a look. Well, what does this bill of material look like? Now, when you did that where used from the board and open it up in the handrail, it took you directly to where that board is used inside that handrail bill of material. So it doesn't just open up the handrail and it's up to you to go find out where it's at, although you could search for it with Teamcenter. It takes you directly to that component. The assumption is you were interested in that board. Here's where it's used in that assembly. So you can now start using this to help make your decisions. And just like before, you can come through and visualize this. You can expand and collapse the bill of material. You can figure out where this is used. You can view related documents, all sorts of capabilities that you can do just from that one component that you initially found. Now, if you visualize this together, so bringing mechanical and electrical and electronic together, you can visualize this and now have a true representation of what that bill of material looks like, including all of those domains in a single common bill of material. And so we zoom this up, get a good look at that. So now this doesn't have to just be one particular CAD system. So it doesn't have to just be Altium for the board and maybe NX for the mechanical. It could be Altium for that board, but maybe it's PADS for another board. And it's a Capital for the harness design. And it's Solid Edge for one component of the drill. It's SolidWorks for another, and maybe NX for another. So it doesn't matter how many CAD systems they came from. We can bring all those together in a common bill of material and visualize it in a single common visualization format. And this is regardless of the CAD system it came from and zero install. I'm doing this all from a web browser. And so there's a good look at what that bill of material looks like. All right, now I'll hit the space bar and go to the next slide. All right, so let's take a look at the customer example. So you've seen how easy it is to search and find data. Let's look at the difference that Teamcenter Rapid Start made for Powerex. So Powerex is a small team. They have about, say, 12 designers. And they design and configured order and engineering order products. And ultimately, it adds up to about tens of thousands of designs across multiple industries. And so they deployed Teamcenter Rapid Start to get control of their designs and revision control issues. And they saw immediate productivity gain. You've probably read the quote, but I'll read the quote to you. So the initial productivity gain was vastly improved searchability. Going from navigating folder structures to using the search box is a much faster way to find information. And so overall productivity improvements are expected to be up to 20% of our engineering department's labor. And so you saw how easy it was to do that search. You went into the search, plugged in what you know, and then look at all the information you're able to get just from that one search. All right, well, let's look at the next step here. So the intuitive user interface that we bring PDM inside of the design tool. So you saw how easy it is to use the search capabilities of Teamcenter. Let's see how easy it is to use PDM directly inside Altium. And so you use Altium every day. Well, we're going to bring PDM directly into that interface. You're not bouncing back and forth between different systems. And so by putting the PDM right at your fingertips, you're going to see an increase in productivity. So a couple slides that introduce what the capabilities are, and then we'll see a demo. So that Teamcenter Integration for Altium enables you to manage that entire PCB lifecycle. So to capture and manage your part library and your schematics and your layouts and your bill of materials and your fabrication and manufacturing data, and then the visualization data, all inside Teamcenter. So the Teamcenter menus are embedded right inside that Altium user interface. That gives you easy access to open and save and check in and check out data, the typical commands that you would need to interact with Teamcenter. So you're not bouncing back and forth between different applications. And Teamcenter is going to automatically protect that data for you. So with access control and revision control. So you're not going to have a situation where somebody accidentally deleted something that they weren't supposed to. And that can happen when you start using folders and file structures. That stuff happens all the time, where you can't find a file because somebody moved it. You don't know where they moved it to. So you'll be able to, as you can see from some of the capabilities, you've probably been reading those on the screen, you can manage all that Altium data, and even the manufacturing and fabrication data, like the drawings and the Gerber and the ODB+. Well, we can also help you get your library under control. So how many part numbers do you have for a 10K resistor? Have you ever thought about that or looked it up? And do you happen to know why you have so many? So sometimes customers just say, well, it just kind of happened over time. Well, you can now get that under control. So you can start tracking the revision levels of the component and have direct access to associated data like compliance forms and data sheets. Then what about for design reviews? So you're done with this board, but maybe it needs to go through a check process. Somebody's got to go review it. Well, right from Teamcenter, or I'm sorry, right from inside Altium, you can start a Teamcenter workflow release process and automatically notify the participants, hey, go take a look at this. Let me know what you think. And you can also save those visualization files, so you don't even need access to Altium to view and review the schematics and the layouts. And that's really useful for managers and downstream consumers of the data. They're going to be tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, can you open this up and take a look at this and give me a measurement? They go do that themselves. They don't need Altium to come through and view that data. All right, well, let's take a look at a demo. So in this example, you're an Altium designer working on a project. And so right from inside Altium, you can access Teamcenter to save and ultimately open your designs. And you'll see, just like I showed in the demo before, you can search and find and view all the data and all the related data. Now, once the data is open up inside Altium, you're going to do your work like you normally do. Altium works the same exact way. And then when you're ready to interact with Teamcenter, those Teamcenter commands are easily available to you right from the toolbar, so that you can, like I mentioned, save and revise and check in and check out, request a new part number from the part librarian, start a new design or release process, and so forth. Well, let's take a look at this. So here you have your schematic and you have your layout that you've been working on for a while, and you're ready to save into Teamcenter. So once again, right from the menus inside Altium, Teamcenter is right there for you. And you can come through and save that design into Teamcenter. Now, when you save that, so it's going to save your printed circuit assembly. It's going to develop a bill of material. It's going to develop some of those viewables that I mentioned, some drawings, a PDF of the drawing. It's going to generate some of the manufacturing items, the Gerber, the ODB+, and so forth, all for you. So you don't have to go through and also generate this stuff. It's going to generate this stuff for you and automatically link and keep it linked together so you can easily find it. And so there we're showing you the Gerber and the ODB+ file. And so when you click Finish, it'll begin that save process into Teamcenter. Now, once that's saved, so kind of the next phase of the video would be, well, what if you need to go open a project? Or what does this look like in Teamcenter? Well, once again, right from Altium, you can go through and open. And this should look familiar because this is the same exact type of search you saw earlier in the previous video. So you enter what you know. So in this case, you're looking for hand drill. Come through and search and filter your results down. This example, you're looking for the EDA, the printed circuit assemblies. And so once those are filtered down, open up the one that you're interested in. You can preview it and look at all that information inside Teamcenter before you even open up inside Altium. So we'll come back to the bill of material. You have access to all the information that you saw on the previous screen. All that information that is saved into Teamcenter is all right at your fingertips. So just a click away. So attachments you saw on the previous screen, the layout drawing, the FATF files, some of the renderings, some of the visualization files that I mentioned. And all this is kept together and all related together. So you can look at this graphically. So there's the hand drill, all the manufacturing information. There's ODB Plus and the drawing and the Gerber file. All right there related for you, all saved in a revision controlled and secure environment. Now looking at the bill of material, so it also saves that bill of material, including the reference designators that you can use to search and sort by. So all that information that you have is all available to users inside Teamcenter. Now when you select a component, for example this resistor, you can go view information about that resistor and view library information. So what's the signal integrity? What's the voltage? What's the wattage? What are the temperature ranges? So all that information is available to you. Just like before that I showed in the previous video, drawings, also available, data sheets. Easily available to you, one click away, and also actionable. If you have different vendors that provide that resistor to you, you can come through and find those vendor part numbers, which you can also search by those vendor part numbers as well, and then it'll cross-reference to the your own part number. And once again, where used. So where is that resistor used? You can see that's used in quite a few projects inside your organization, and that's very beneficial for change management. Same thing with another component. So pick a capacitor, same type of information. So right from inside Altium, you have access to full Teamcenter. Come through and search and find what it is you're looking for, and you can also drill down and view that related information. That's just a click away. So you don't have to find the capacitor and then also go find the drawing, and then also go find this, and then also go find that, and then go try to figure out where it's used. It's all right there for you. Now, once you found this particular project, so in this case you found this hand drill, you did a little bit of exploring, but ultimately you want to open it up inside Altium. You come through and open it up. Teamcenter will come through and handle all the file transfer process for you. Open up inside Altium, and Altium works the way it normally does. So do all your normal work at this point. Now, one nice thing it also does is synchronize attributes. So your title blocks can automatically be synchronized for you. So as you enter in what the part name is and what the part number is, it'll automatically populate the title block for you. And so like I mentioned, Altium works the way it normally does. When you're ready to interact with Teamcenter, there's that Teamcenter menu for you. Whether you're ready to save the updates in or start a new workflow process, request a new component, whatever it is it may be, it's right at your fingertips inside Altium that you use every day. All right, well now let's look at how Teamcenter helps you manage change inside Altium. So we don't just manage the data, because managing the data is one thing, but this data is ever changing. It's changing all the time. So how do we manage that change? Well, with direct access to change management Altium, no need for a secondary application. So those change notifications can be delivered directly within Altium, and it's going to have all the data that you need, all the data that's involved in the change. You can understand what is changing, why is it changing, what do I need to do, and so forth. And this is going to help streamline that change process and improve user productivity as well throughout that process. And so as you can see some of the capabilities on the screen, direct access to the change from inside Altium. We're going to see that in a demo in a second here. And I'm going to grab a sip of water here. All right, another thing, automatic notification across mechanical and electrical design teams. So what if you have a multi-domain change? How do you account for all those domains? Well, with Teamcenter, since you can manage the data from multiple systems in one common environment, you can have one common change process. So that way, when you initiate a change, you can incorporate mechanical, electrical, electronic, all together. So everybody's working together to solve the same common problem. Not, well, somebody has to go tell this domain what to do. Oh, somebody's going to go tell this other domain what to do over there, and they're not in a connected environment. Maybe using email. which, you know, if you get an email to 3 people and you don't do a reply all, some people have no idea what's going on. You've just broken that chain. We don't have those issues at Teamcenter. You saw the where used to determine that impact across the company. So when there is a change, what's the impact? You saw how with just one click you can determine that company-wide. You know exactly what boards are affected and exactly what products are affected. Teamcenter has pre-configured workflows to help you get that review and approval process to make sure that it goes and notifies the proper person at the right time that, hey, go check out what I did and approve it, or send it back to me if it needs to be updated. As you do that change, you may be releasing some new parts or maybe discontinuing some parts or components, and maybe even some documents that are affected by the change. You would see how all that information is collected as part of the change. And there's always going to be traceability. So if we do the change today, we know exactly what we did. But 6 months from now, are we going to remember this change that we did today? We might not. But we'll always have that traceability to understand exactly what happened with that change. Who was involved with it? How did we get here? What did we do? Who reviewed and approved it along the way? And what data was involved in it? Oh, okay, I see. So we had to replace Part A with Part B, and we did it because of maybe a cost issue. We'll always have that information available to us to understand exactly what was done with this change. Well, let's look at a demo again. So in this example, you're a designer, has been involved or has been assigned a change. And so with Teamcenter Altium Integration, you'll see how you're going to have everything you need to understand the change. The data that's involved in the change, the impact of the change, what the where used. And so you can easily make those changes needed, communicate what you did, and then sign off on the change and send it for review and approval. And you're doing this all right inside Altium. So let's take a look at this. So inside Altium, you're a user, and instead of doing a search, you're going to come over to your inbox. And your inbox is where you have a task assigned to you. You need to go through and perform this change and let everybody know when it's done. Now, attached to that task you need to sign off on is the change itself. So when you open up, everything related to this change is now right in front of you. So you have a basic description of what needs to be done. You have a nice visual that helps provide graphical understanding not only to you, but maybe others who may need to look at this change. They can immediately start understanding, oh yeah, I know what's going on here. Well, then related to this change are different tabs, and these different tabs collect different information about it. So a lot of customers use a change request and a change notice, where a change request can collect, well, here's what we should do. Here's our planning for what we want to do with this change. And that may capture some cost estimates and what departments are affected or what domains are affected. And then use the change notice to capture, here's what we're going to do about it. Here's what we're going to do to solve the change. Or 6 months from now, when you look back at this, here's what we did. So we have the ability for you to capture that information, your planning and your execution information. And then in the engineering order, we have different sections that help you document the data that was involved in the change. So we have different sections to allow you to say, well, here's parts that were revised as part of this change. Or here's parts we no longer need. And as you scroll down here, you'll see some reference supporting information and maybe even some new parts. These are new parts we created along the way. And this helps you document your change so that way anybody who looks at it, whether it be the reviewer who needs to review the change and approve it, or my example of 6 months from now when we come back, you'll be able to understand exactly what was done as a result of this change. Oh, we revised this part, we got rid of this part, and we had to create this brand new part. And what was impacted by it was these 2 boards and this product. So you have everything that's involved too. In this example, we have this printed circuit assembly and the hand drill. This is a multi-domain change. Well, right from inside Altium, you can come through and open up that PCA, take a look at it, and that's in Teamcenter, and then ultimately open up inside Altium. So now you understand the change, you understand exactly what needs to be done. Inside Altium, Altium works the same way it does. So we're not going to spend the time to actually show making a change. Everybody knows how to move some parts around and so forth. The point is that you have all the information you need to understand what needs to be done. Teamcenter brings that information to you right inside Altium. You can come through and perform the change, document everything you need to do, and then come back and sign off on that change and let everybody know, here's what I did, it's ready for approval, or it's ready to go to the next person in the change process, your turn to go work, and automatically notify them. Well, as I mentioned, there's a multi-domain change. So what about on the mechanical side? Well, in this example, so you use Altium for board design and SolidWorks for mechanical. Same type of thing. we bring PDM inside the CAD system. So now the SolidWorks designer has access to that same exact change. So when they automatically get notified, they have access to the same stuff, that same markup. There's the same change request. There's the same change notice information, the change order, all those different sections to help document the change. And now the SolidWorks designer, direct access to that data to directly open up inside SolidWorks. And so once again, using that power of Teamcenter, single change processing can cover multiple domains, automatically notify the users that they have work to perform, provide them the means to come through and document the changes that they made, and have that traceability and the workflow process to automatically notify users, you need to go through and take a look at this and approve this particular change. All right, well, as I've mentioned a couple times along the way, in addition to Altium, so Teamcenter Rapid Start is tightly integrated with all the major electronic, electrical, and mechanical CAD tools. And you can see on the list here the variety of tools that we have direct integrations to. So just like those previous demos that I've shown where we bring Teamcenter right inside the tool, same thing here. So if you're using NX or CATIA or Mentor Pads or Zukin or AutoCAD Electrical, we bring Teamcenter right inside that user interface for you. You have the search capabilities, you have the workflow capabilities, you have the visualization, everything that I've shown you, the where used, the impact analysis, regardless of the tool that you're using. And like I mentioned, we can manage all this data inside Teamcenter. So you may have some products that you're working on that need CATIA and NX and PADS and Altium and Mentor Capital, for example. We can bring all those together in a single common bill of material and visualize that in a single common format as well. Let's look at another reference. So Kyle Lake, an application engineer at Oasis Sales, which deals with multiple customers across a variety of industries. And I'll read the quote to you, although you've probably started to read it. We see tremendous value in Teamcenter Rapid Start solution for our PCB design customers. By bringing together users of a variety of CAD tools, electronic and mechanical designs will be managed in a true collaborative environment. And so this allows our customers to focus on reuse and optimization of their designs, which lowers costs and delivers greater product innovation. And so that gets to what I said earlier about, it doesn't matter the CAD system that you're using. It doesn't have to just be one CAD system. It's going to be multiple. Whether it's multiple today or maybe buy a company tomorrow. Now you can easily manage their data, the CAD system that they use inside Teamcenter. Single common environment. All right, well, let's look at the third step here. Fastest time to value. So I mentioned get up and running in 1 week. What does that mean? Well, with Teamcenter Rapid Start, we offer a pre-configured deployment of Teamcenter, and that's the key there. So by doing this, we can deploy Teamcenter a lot quicker than a standard deployment. And that's going to allow you to obviously begin using Teamcenter quicker, which means you can then reap the benefits of Teamcenter quicker, which also means you get that ROI, that return on investment a lot sooner. Now, when we do this, so we follow a standard deployment methodology, and that methodology includes installation and mentoring and training, not only of your users, obviously they're the ones that need to use the product, but if you have an administrator, maybe a couple administrators, teach them as well how to administer the system, the basic tasks that they need to do behind the scenes. And so by simplifying that upfront consulting, we can reduce the time and save you money. And so you'll see that fast payback on your PDM investment because you're enjoying the benefits sooner. In essence, as soon as Teamcenter is installed, you're ready to use it. So here's an example of what we mean by that fast payback with Teamcenter Rapid Start. This is with a 10-user example you can see on the left there. So it's an example of an ROI for an existing, whether it be ECAD or MCAD, doesn't matter, that's going to be adding Teamcenter Rapid Start. And so the payback is based on that McKinsey report that I showed you earlier, that people spend about 2 hours a day just looking for data, that non-value-added time. And you can consider, considering those additional benefits Teamcenter can provide, that number is probably conservative because Teamcenter doesn't just help you out with search, it helps you out with a lot of other stuff as well. Now, that implementation is what we call like a small business installation of Teamcenter Rapid Start. And so, but that's just one of our delivery options because we have other on-site and cloud-based options. So it might change the formula and balance some of your, whether it's a little more upfront costs or some more recurring costs, depending on where you spread those costs around. But the bottom line, we can deliver PDM to fit your needs quickly and very cost-effectively. Now, we looked at Powerex earlier. Let's look at them again. So they deployed Teamcenter Rapid Start quickly to get control of their designs and the revision control issues. But it also takes a small IT budget and just very few resources to manage the implementation. So reading Aaron's quote here, Teamcenter Rapid Start is absolutely the right size for a small company. With one engineer and one IT guy, we've been able to support our initial Teamcenter Rapid Start implementation and expansion. All right, so we've looked at these three, talking about increasing efficiency with some of the search capabilities that Teamcenter has and how all the data is connected. You don't have to find one thing and then go try to find another, which is one click of the mouse or one tap on the screen. You're easily able to see that related data. We looked at the intuitive user interface, so bringing Teamcenter right inside the design tool that you're using, whether that be on the mechanical, electrical, or electronic side, and that fast time to deploy. So you've seen how Rapid Start delivers that right size PDM to greater business growth, but that's today. So what about your business growth tomorrow? Well, with Teamcenter Rapid Start, you don't have to know or anticipate what your business needs will be in the future. And you can see some of those questions. Well, who else should we include? Should we put some resource planning and some scheduling in there? Can we track requirements? How do we collaborate better with partners? And what other processes can we automate? These are just some of the questions that you may be asking. Well, here's where we're at today, but what should we be doing in the future? Well, what you do is just simply start with what's in the box. Get you a full-featured PDM system. But over time, as your needs change, you can easily extend that deployment, and all you're doing is just adding on capabilities. And the interoperability with applications and systems and partners as your business grows. And so you can even grow from PDM all the way to full PLM. Well, let's look at that. So Teamcenter Rapid Start can get you up and running with PDM quickly. And so what does it offer? Single installation process for servers and clients that gives you a fully configured environment that has standard organization and roles, pre-configured database, has some workflows, reports, very robust security models. Your data is automatically protected, and it's all ready to use as soon as you complete the installation. And ongoing updates and support for simple, fast, and effective operation. But what about as your needs grow? Well, one of the beauties of Teamcenter Rapid Start is that it's a pre-configuration of Teamcenter. So after you're up and running with PDM, you can choose to expand to Teamcenter at any time and add on additional modules. But the nice thing is, important to remember, is that once you're a Rapid Start customer, you're always a Rapid Start customer. So you're not going to lose any of this information. You're going to keep your pre-configurations and your capabilities like workflows and users and groups, and of course all the data and reports that you've had as you move forward. You're not losing that. So you can add more capabilities onto Rapid Start. When you're ready for full-blown PLM, flip a switch. Everything you've captured and everything you've done so far maintains there. You're just opening up additional capabilities. So in review, we've shown how you can unlock the secrets to streamline product development with a pre-configured PDM solution. And what to do? Supports multiple electronic, electrical, and mechanical CAD tools. Gives you that single source of PDM product-related data. Provides that growth path. So where you're at today with PDM allows you to grow not only with more PDM, but also all the way up to PLM. And it deploys quickly and cost-effectively for that fast return on investment. And ultimately, minimal IT support to maintain. Well, with that, we'll now take some questions, but beforehand, I definitely want to thank everyone for taking the time to learn more about Teamcenter Rapid Start, that starting point to get started with PDM. If you want to learn how your company can grow with PLM, you can visit the website on there, siemens.com/impactofplm, for some more webinars.
And with that, this officially concludes today's webinar. I thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day.